I was at a high school basketball game the other night, and it was neat to see how in the crowd, the whole crowd just believed so much in their team, just going, "We're number one, we're number one." The funny thing is you don't know if your team really is number one or not. I mean, their record and their standings may really say that they're number 5, number 6. But you guys know as well as I do that everyone has this desire to be number one, to be the best of the best. It drives us and it keeps it forward, keeps us moving forward. But one of my favorite stories in the Bible is when Jesus and his disciples are walking through Capernaum, is what it's called. And it's in Mark chapter 9. And they got to this house, and Jesus finally stops and he asks them, he goes, "Hey, what were you guys arguing about on the road, you disciples?" And it says, the Bible says that they kept quiet because on the way, they had argued about who was the greatest. Kind of one of those moments where you know you've got caught, so you just remain silent so that you can just get your punishment. So Jesus sits down, and he calls the 12 to himself, and he goes, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be the very last, the servant of all." We often wonder who's number one. Can you imagine the conversation the disciples were having on that road, throwing out all their accomplishments, all the things that they had done? Well, I've healed 10 people. Well, I've healed 20 people. And in the meantime, Jesus is going, you really haven't done anything apart from God working through you. And it's amazing. I mean, these guys are arguing about how great they are and stacking their accomplishments up and seeing now through it all who's really going to be the greatest. I mean, it's like a class in Humility 101. And then Jesus gives them this straightforward formula. He says, listen, you guys really want to determine who's the greatest among you. He goes, who's in last place? Who's the servant of all? The Bible doesn't say that there's any response from the disciples at that point, because you wonder how many really would have signed up for that kind of greatness, to be the servant of all. You know, when we're doing good works and when we're working for God's kingdom, sometimes it's easy for us to draw attention to our good deeds, but Jesus says, that's not at all what I want you to do. He said, what I want you guys just to do is have a servant's heart. Be willing to do what needs to be done, just so that God's grace and love and mercy can be known by all. So today, when you ask yourself, maybe just subconsciously, not out loud, when you say, how great am I today? Maybe just like Jesus encourages us to do, may you measure your greatness not by who serves you, but by who you are going out and actively serving. And may the Lord truly bless you as you serve His kingdom today.